GAPAPS, which is associations. Two important statements there. Let me just focus on the last one. That show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. Is it true that in life, even though you don't do those things, but by virtue of association, people say, why is that? Yeah. And there are just too many cases in South Africa that have proven this. Even if you don't, but people associate you with that. You can look in the music industry as an example. We had Oliver Mtukudzi coming from Zimbabwe. No one knew about him. He had produced more than 30 albums. And yet, if he had to penetrate the South African market, he had to associate with Ringo Madlengos. And they did a duet. Immediately after that, we could buy Oliver Mtukudzi. Because of what? Associations. In very simple terms, uskimilema. I'll not ask him, sir, or my opportunity there's lies. Understand? And I don't mean anyone is wrong in life, but you know there are behaviors that are not supportive of what you want to achieve. Ne? So if you want to capture the moment, it's important to choose who you want to be with. And this also applies in the workplace, am I correct? Because you will find in the workplace there are people that are there because they are expecting an income at the end of the month. Go buy a paycheck, the truck. But there are then those that really understand the bigger picture of this country, that understand the plight that we are facing, and they are there to produce. And generally, like Les said, the perception that the public has of public servants is very bad. Am I correct? Whether we like it or not, that's the way it is. But we have a responsibility individually to change that perception. We want the public to look at just one person and say, you know, before you, I used to think bad of the public servant. But today, after interacting with you, my attitude has changed. And it takes just one person to change that. But it is going to be changed by the people that you associate with. Very important point to remember. Now let's look at something that's very key as well. Just the principles of building sound associations. The first statement that is important is that we don't get paid based on the problems that we have, but by our market value. I remember one soccer boss was negotiating with a player. Now this guy came there and said, you know, my grandmother is living in a shack, chief. Number 2, there are 4 siblings that I have to take care of. Number 3, hey, this guy is starting to make noise now. You know, whose problem is that? It's his. Right? Now the world does not negotiate with you based on your personal problems. It negotiates with you based on your market value. All right. Now market value can also be increased by the people that you associate with. Very important. But also, number 2, by the changes that you bring to the world. I like what John Maxwell once said, that for every 100 problem spotters, you always find one problem solver. You can listen to the radio. If you want to complain, that's where you go and all that. But it takes one person who's going to look at the situation and the problem and say, what is the solution? And that's what the world wants to trade with. We don't want to trade with mourners, people that are complaining, you know, where's my salary? When is it increasing? Hello, Ketinyana. How about now? You know those type of people. They are always finding an excuse to complain. But whoever's going to stand out and say, what is the solution? The world begins to sit up. Because you are distinguishing yourself in that regard. Now, here's another important point. That in life, you must never sell your soul for success. I want you to remember the story of Judas Iscariot in the Bible. At the end, he had the money, but he was not happy with himself. And hence he committed suicide. Do you understand my point? There are people in life that from a distance you think they are successful, but they don't sleep like you at night. They wish they could just catch an hour without waking up, you know, with a gun in hand. It's all about never selling your soul for success. Now, 2 angles that are very important in terms of associations. Number 1, we analyze the ones that we have and we choose them. Now, let's start with analyzing. The first thing that we need to ask ourselves all the time, and I ask you to do this even tonight, that draw a table with 3 columns. On the left, ask yourself, who are my friends? Number 2, what influence are they having? Number 3, is that acceptable? Just do that exercise and ask me how many would you be left with a yes? If there are a couple of no's, you need to make a decision. Because it is those people that will make you lose focus on the ball that we are talking about. Ne? Now, let's look at something that's also very key when you choose them. Firstly, choose people that make a meaningful difference. You know, the people that you spend time with, after that you feel like you are just an inch better than what you were before. You need those people. Number two, you need people that are sharper and smarter than you. Don't choose those that you dominate. You know, there are people that deliberately go to those that they dominate. When they're in the company of people that are sound and sharp, they're like, hey, no, this is not my place. What shift? Now, the danger with that type of person, they end up lying now. They twist the toes because these ones are just gullible. They believe everything. You need people that are really going to put on your toes. And that's a very important principle in building relationships. Now, here's something that's also very key. You need to choose tour guides and not travel agents. Now, those who are in the tourism industry will tell you that a tour guide will take you there. They've been there. They know the place and all that. But a travel agent, they'll take you where they themselves have never been before. They have a map. They say, hey, we're going to go to China. Understand? So you need experienced people around us. That's why I believe in the statement that says that the exuberance of the youth must always be blended with the experience of the aged. So we need a blend. Understand? Very key. Now, let me give you an example with a guy that I followed at some point. We're still doing business, Given Curry. He's one of the owners of Capricorn FM. I hear that they've got Power FM coming in Gauteng. Now, one day I was driving, and I listened to him being interviewed on radio. And they asked him, so after all the business has been done and all that, what do you want to do? He said two options. Either I will teach or I'll get into politics. I thought that's my angle because I'm in the business of teaching. I called him and said, Given, I want to give you an opportunity to teach without having to retire. Now you see, that is different from a person that goes and say, hey Joe, you know those people that does not work in business. People don't trade based on that. They want you to solve their problems. If they have a gap or a goal that they have in mind, they want you to help them to achieve that goal. And today we've got a business relationship based on that one line that I said. Very important.